Hey guys, Brian, SoCal Supermoto, and today we're going over what you need to get into riding Supermoto. So what we got today is kind of 3 different bikes and 3 different levels to just show you what you need. So assuming that you're brand new to Supermoto, you don't know what's available, I thought I'd just talk about 3 different entry points of getting into Supermoto. So what do you need? Number 1, you need some gear. We're sponsored by Alpine Stars. They provide us with super bitchin' leathers. A lot of people wear motocross gear. You can wear like knee braces and motocross gear and impact jersey and all that sort of stuff. If you're brand new, you really can't beat leathers. And you don't have to have brand new awesome leathers. Just get some Craigslist beaters or something off like Marketplace or whatever. But yeah, if there's one thing that you need, I would recommend motocross boots, some leathers, motocross helmet, but of course you can use your street helmet as well. So don't let like the quality of gear. The main thing is that you have armor everywhere. In Supermoto, you're not going to be sliding for a really long time. It's much more about that first initial hit. So mostly impact protection is the most important. Good boots, since ankle injuries are probably the most common, but after that, just make sure that you have knee armor, hip armor, back protection, elbow protection, some decent leathers, and you're going to be good to go. Because that way, no matter what kind of piece of crap you're on, at least the most important part, is protected. So there you go, some leathers, some gear. Doesn't have to be new, just has to be somewhat decent. And then moving on to the bikes, I think the number one mistake that people do in riding is buying too much bike. So I brought out like a little beater TTR to show you guys. In fact, this one has 17s, but just pretend it has stock wheels on it. You can take stock wheels. Dunlop, we always run Dunlops, they don't have anything that'll fit stock small dirt bike wheels. So a lot of times you can get something like a BT45 or a Pirelli Scorpion, or like a dual sport tire that's like a 90-10 tire. You can also even use if you have a 17-inch rear, you can use a front sport bike tire mounted backwards on the rear wheel. So you can pretend like this one has stock size wheels and pretend it has a grip. I don't know what happened to this bike's grip. But this is a used TTR. You can get these for $1,000. And here's the deal, if you're thinking that you need like a faster bike, in reality there's somebody with experience that can come down here with a TTR and smoke you on the track. So the main thing with the bike is that you want to make sure it's fun. These are toys, that's the whole point that we're doing here. And if you want to come out and have fun and have training, to be honest with you, you don't need anything more than a little TTR 125 or any kind of small air-cooled bike, XR 100. It is better if you have a disc front brake rather than a drum brake. Those are kind of a nightmare. But small dirt bike, any small dirt bike, some street-ish rubber, preferable to have a rotor in the front. But beyond that, that's all you need. And again, if you think you need more bikes, there's somebody with more experience than you that will smoke you on something as cheap and as simple as this little air-cooled TTR. All right, next level I would say would be the DRZ 400. I'd also put like the WR250X into this category, meaning just DRZs are our favorites. We've run them in the school forever. They're super fun, they're very reliable, and new riders tend to be faster on them than they would be with converted bikes or like a pro level race bike. With the DRZs, we just take off the headlight, we jet them, we put some rubber killers on them, we run the Dunlop Q3 Plus tires, and they're pretty turnkey, ready to go. So you can basically get any DRZ or a like-minded, reliable dirt bike, stick some streetish rubber on there, and be pretty much good to go. Now, until you get to the point where I'd say you're like advanced intermediate, you're not going to get anywhere with a faster bike. All kinds of riders that have race bikes, I mean, myself or the staff, not that we're great riders, but all the time we will pass people on like real race bikes. So until you have a bit of experience, you're not really going to get any benefit by getting a FS 450 Husky or anything like that. You're probably going to be just as well or maybe even faster on the DRZ just because of how easy it is to ride. And so yeah, that would be, I'd say, level 2. Just get a DRZ-like bike, do some basic mods to make it crash better, get some sticky rubber on there. One thing, on this level I really want to bring up, make sure you get a steel braided line. If you come out here with a rubber line, then you're gonna cook it really quick. Same thing goes if you've converted a dirt bike and you have a small rotor. That was really common back in the day. You'd kind of put some 17s and people would run like a small rotor, and those things warp, I don't know, after 3 or 4 laps of even somewhat spirited braking. So that's one thing you want to make sure, even at this level, that you have at least a steel braided line. Stock master cylinder, stock caliper is fine. Just a larger rotor and a steel braided line, and that's going to be more braking power than most people need. Advanced riders will cook that, but 95% of riders are going to be totally okay with this. All right? Then after you're putting in some good lap times, move over to a proper race bike. This is a YZ, so this would be pretty much a totally prepped race bike. So 16.5-inch front, slicks. So running slicks means generators, tire warmers. One of the benefits of tire warmers, besides warming the tires, is it's a cost thing. You're not going to heat cycle the tires out as fast. We have a Behringer master cylinder, Behringer, I believe, 6-pot caliper on there, and which is going to be way more braking than most people are going to need. The suspension has aftermarket linear suspension on here, both front and rear. Engine, it's not my bike. I'm not sure what they've done to the bike, but mostly just having it mapped right, having a pipe on there, suspension set up, 16.5 slicks, Behringer brakes, and sometimes you can buy bikes that racers have converted and are selling for like $4,000 or $5,000. This one I would say is probably around $6,000 or $7,000, and that would be kind of the next level. So what's the absolute basics you need? Kind of what we started off with, just any dirt bike with any kind of streetish tires on there. Try to get a rotor, try to get steel braided line, and that's going to be enough to get you out to the track. You don't need to spend a lot of money. And then that brings us to the last point, a track. So you need some place to ride it. Yeah, people go and push it in the canyons. I won't. I'll like look at the pretty trees and cruise around in the canyons. But anytime you're going to do any serious riding, at the risk of sounding old, when we didn't have tracks available to us or they weren't close, we'd go to industrial parks, office parks on the weekends. My first bike, it took a long time to get wheels made back in the day, and we would just run knobbies on asphalt in a park with some cones. And it's not like that was less fun. It was free, and we could go out there and rip around all day. So basically, and then some friends. Get some friends, get a cheap bike, some streetish tires, some good gear, and then just go for it. If you want the easy button, come to a school. You know, we provide everything from the gear to the bikes, training, track fees, photography, lunch, the whole deal. You can just come out, rip around. You can see if Supermoto is for you. It is, because it's awesome and it's super fun. And if you ride motorcycles, you're gonna love riding Supermoto. So anything from a $1,000 bike to a $10,000, $11,000 turnkey bike, basically whatever you can afford. The main thing is don't sweat the details. Don't sweat the small stuff. Get out here, ride, you'll figure out what works for you, what you're most interested in, and then take it from there. And the most important thing is that you're having a good time.